Hey, yo.
Hey, what's up?
Solo.
I'm live again in the hood, trying to drop this word sound. Sorry about before because my Wi-Fi was going in and out. I got full signal now, so everything should be fine. But in any case, I already laid down the groundwork before, so with no further ado, I'm going to drop the word sound again because from the beginning, and hopefully it lasts all the way through. Alright, so check it out. Check it out. How y'all doing today, by the way? How y'all doing? I'm over here in Oswald Harris Court with my brethren among friends. And here we are I'm just trying to make these brothers familiar with what I'm dealing with, just like I'm trying to make you familiar with what I'm dealing with. It's all about positivity, you know? Anyway, check it out. Greetings. Nice to be able to speak with you guys again. Welcome to my vlog. I'm Fair None, a resolutionary writer and speaker. I've explained this countless times before, but there's always a chance that someone is visiting my vlog for the first time, so I will say it again. I am one individual who has devoted his life to the work of making the world a better place for myself and everyone who exists in this realm as of today and the lives of future generations. I'm sure that there are many who say that this is an impossible goal. Believe me, I've heard it all before. Some people say it's an impossible goal, so why even try? Now, who devotes his entire existence to a goal that's not even attainable? I happen to think differently, and I'm behaving accordingly. I had a conversation with two gentlemen earlier. I asked them one question. They were sitting with me in the compound that I built for myself a few weeks earlier, and they were marveling at the fact that I had already done what they always wanted to do. I built a compound out of scrap wood that I found from all over the place. I bought screws and other material. I had tools, and I purchased more building material as I needed to complete the project. The project was done several weeks ago, and I was completely moved in by July 23rd of this year. Just so you're aware, it's Friday, September 27th, 2019. So I've been there almost a full 2 months by now. So with no real threat working hurricane-wise, I had some friends over. As we were sitting there drinking beer and conversating, I could sense that my friends were trying to figure me out. So I broke the ice for them. I asked them what they thought I was doing, settling in the place that I did, and what they thought of me. They did not seem to understand the question. One guy said that he thought I was just chilling and enjoying life. The other guy didn't know what to say at all. I made it easy for them though, and I made myself clear. I asked if they thought that I was just being cool or if there was a method to my madness. They commented on how much money I must be saving. I told them that yes, that is a factor, but it's not the main reason that I moved there. And not to keep you or them in suspense any longer, I explained to them that it was my outlook on the world that landed me there, and that I'd had enough, and that I finally was taking a stand against the known status quo, while simultaneously taking a stand in favor of a better way of life. They were amused. I can't say that I blame them for it either. Early in my life, if I were to reflect on the same statement spoken to me by someone else, I would probably admire that person for wanting to take such a stand, but I would hardly consider these actions productive at all. And not ever having been known to be someone who will not put my money where my mouth is in support of what I believe in, I eventually moved from the 4-bedroom house that I was living in to where I am now. And I'm not just going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that one day I just decided to move in, and I did. Nah, I was kind of forced into it, and I had to make a decision. Now, given a choice, I wouldn't have done what I did a mere weeks before the hurricane season, but things ended up the way they did, and the rest is history. So why did I do what I did? Because the 4-bedroom house that I was living in for the past 8 years had been hurricane ravaged a couple years before, and I hung in there and repaired the house to the best of my ability while having plans to eventually one day own the house because the owner promised to sell it to me and my family. I was patient, and I made him an offer, and I guess it wasn't a good enough offer because someone made a better offer than we did, and he went with her. The new prospective owner has plans to turn it into a vacation rental, so my continuing to occupy the downstairs was not even an option. I was asked to move, and it would have cost me at least $4,000 to move in 30 days, and with 2 big dogs and a house full of stuff, it just wasn't feasible economically for me at the time. I ain't got none. Oh, yeah. But wait, hold on. it wasn't feasible for me at the time, right? To be honest with you, I don't know where it is right now. I'm in the middle of something. I'm sorry. Anyway, I wasn't prepared for this request, but I had to comply. And I moved out within 30 days, and my best option was to relocate, and my best option was to relocate to the woods, which I did. My other options include losing all that I have and putting my dogs up for adoption and a whole lot of other inconveniences. I had rough days ahead, and I knew it. I also knew that no one was going to help me in any way at all. And I'm not a government assistance kind of guy, and I knew that I could figure this out on my own, so I did. And you may wonder, don't you have family? Well, I do, but have you ever heard the word dysfunctional? Yeah, you know what that means. Well, mine is dysfunctional on both sides. I chose the wrong mate, so I failed at having my own healthy family, so they ended up being dysfunctional as well. And there are many people that I love that love me, but loving someone and being there when they need you is two different things, isn't it? And I not only understand that, I accept that, and hence the decision I made to do the things that I've done. Any other time of the year, this would have been an easy move with little to deal with in terms of bad weather. But it is not another time of year. It is hurricane season, one of the most destructive natural forces known to humankind. And here I am, just out there in it. And there was one actual hurricane that came through here less than 2 weeks ago, and it didn't do much damage here, but then it probably ended up being the freakiest storm on record ever as it continued onto the Bahamas chain of islands, where it began to do catastrophic damage and claim the lives of thousands of people. Its name was Dorian. Sea surges of up to 23 feet high rolled inland, and the poor Bahamian people who existed in elevation below sea level did not have any hills that they could run to in order to survive and escape. Meanwhile, a Category 5 hurricane battered the people for more than 30 consecutive hours. What a nightmare that must have been for them. And my heart goes out to them, to all of them. Now, 2 weeks before, if someone would have told the people of these islands that things would go down like they did, they would have probably laughed in your face. What do you think they're doing now? That's a rhetorical question, by the way. So here it is, Friday, September 27th, 2019. Only 3 days past yet another tropical storm threatened our island. Her name was Karen. She brought high winds and lots of rain, but overall, Karen was pretty nice to us. After she was done and she moved on to Puerto Rico, funny thing that while Karen was passing us, Puerto Rico had an earthquake, a 6.0. Now that's pretty significant. Not only did Puerto Rico get an earthquake, a storm was headed their way. What an awful combination of events. And I haven't been able to follow how life has turned out for the people of Puerto Rico these past few days, but I hope that they're all right. My question to you Virgin Islanders is, if we suffered a really significant earthquake at any time of the year, let's say even days or weeks before hurricane season, and a hurricane the likes of Irma or Maria came through, how well do you think that would pan out? My guess is that this sequence of events would change the entire landscape of Virgin Islands culture for some time, probably forever. Why? Because an earthquake is bad enough. Structures will be weakened and destroyed, and so will roadways. The government will not work correctly. Food and other resources will be an issue. People will have to adjust from ordinary comfortable living to survival mode at all times. And then the hurricanes. Wow. We know the devastation that a hurricane brings. Oh, I know what you're thinking. FEMA will help. The world will help. Yeah, like they helped Haiti. Bamboo? Yeah. FEMA will help. The world will help. Yeah, like they helped Haiti and the Bahamas, right? Yeah, you keep thinking that. You keep thinking that the world will help, that everybody's all humanitarian and everything. You know, like the world done forgot about the Bahamas by now, it seemed like. You know, everybody's back to what they did. And remember what the Clintons and them did with Haiti, you know? So that's what I'm talking about. So The fact is that a lot of people would die unnecessarily. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people would die anyway, but at least if we were more conscious about the possibilities and we were able to embrace the realities and we were able to take precautionary measures to ensure our readiness, perhaps if we were focused on what is truly important, more of us could get through this together. Give thanks. Don't worry, I'm going to break down all that I just said in the last paragraph. Give me a chance. We have to, first of all, see these things that I talked about as really being possible. We could have disasters of this magnitude and then things could go all downhill, 100% downhill from there. And a lot more of people are going to die anyway, but maybe they don't have to. Take the insulin dependent, for example. From what I'm told, in the last disaster, refrigeration was an issue, keeping the insulin cold. Think of how many diabetics we have in the territory. I think having enough insulin on hand was an issue as well. In fact, consider all the various people in our society who are dependent on various pharmaceuticals to either keep them alive or enhance their quality of lives. What will happen to them? You know as well as I do that there's no contingency plan in the face of all of this to address these issues. According to memory, in 2016, medical supplies of all types were in short supply, and food was indeed an issue. You want to be eating Red Cross food after a disaster again? Ew! All that Hormel chili and Vienna sausages and all the candy and other bullshit they gave us cans of water in aluminum cans that had a shelf life of 5 years. Disgusting. What kind of technology is that? No, Russ? I think that the Red Cross thought that we were probably sitting around getting high all day and we were going to need lots of snacks like candy to consume afterwards. And the military gave us field rations. I hated that stuff. I wanted a fruit or vegetable here and there so badly, but I couldn't get any. And there weren't any on the island, and the government wasn't making it available from other ports. So when I say we need to embrace the realities, I am saying multiple things. The reality is that we need to become closer to each other as a society, because in reality, all we really have is each other. I mean, people of all so-called races, all we have is each other. I will get to this later, but this is only one of the realities. Another reality stems out of the last reality, which is the government does not care for the people. Now, this may sound odd, and you may have to think of the government as its own independent entity and not a creation of the people to see things this way. The government functions as though it is separate and apart from the people who created it to serve their interests and needs, and not the other way around. If we were to look at it closer, we would see the real culprit, the people who run government. My point is that the government could only run as smoothly as the aptitude and sincerity of the people who operate the government would allow it, right? The people who run government may indeed be sincere, but they have proven that they are not fit to lead over and over again. And have you looked at who's running our government lately? Not to take a shot at them, because they are no different than any of the other people who have run government before. All you have to do to run government is to be popular. It requires no special skill, no credentials. Just be popular and you get to run everyone's lives and make the rules. Sound like a raw deal to the rest of us, if you ask me. Now that's reality. And if you'd like to get into that, I'd like to get into that subject more, but another time, because I have to stay on topic. Embrace the realities? Yeah, reality is just that, because you live in a concrete structure that does not mean that your life will not change in an instant and be forced to realize you will not be forced to realize your connectedness to everyone and everything around you. There are more realities to discuss, but I gotta stick to this breakdown. Precautionary measures. What type of precautionary measures could we take? There are a number of things that we could do as a society to ensure the smoothest transition through any hardship we may or could endure as a society. I could list some here, but the list is so expansive that I could possibly spend the rest of the day identifying them and breaking them down individually. And I'm not going to do that today, but I would list food, water, and medicine as a start. Preparedness is one of the keys to our survival and our overall well-being. The next part of the breakdown is so that we could focus on what is truly important, ultimately so that we can get the most of this experience that we call life. I would like to think and desperately hope and pray to the Almighty that such a fate as the ones I described does not befall the Virgin Islands one day. We will see. The Most High knows best. But if it does, I would like for my people to be prepared. And just to be clear about who my people is, it is all of you. It is you, everybody, right? Just to be, it's all of you. All the people who have made the Virgin Islands their home and are willing to do the best that they could to make these islands a better place. So, to make you and my friends who visited me better informed as to why I've adopted this minimalist, Ibmore lifestyle, I want to help affect significant change in the world. And in order to do that, my thoughts have got to be my own. Therefore, I have decided that I would do what all the major sages of old did to figure themselves out and figure the world out. I retreated to the hills, and in this case, the bush. And only now could I hear myself think. The Almighty speaks to me in the challenges I face living this lifestyle. And for the first time in a really long time, I feel free. This freedom comes at a price. I had to decide that I would give up the conveniences that had forced me back into the matrix. I have firmly resolved hold on one second. That I am in this world and not of it. Forgive me. One second, I got a little distracted there for a second. Good afternoon, sister. How you doing? All right. I cannot force my way back into the womb and undo all that was done. I am here now, and I see what's going on. I've been here for some time, and I've been disgusted with what I've seen for some time. But for a lack of knowledge, particularly of self, I had to go along with the program. But all that had changed now. I gave up everything, and I now have nothing to lose except the few things that I have to help improve the quality of my life. I no longer have to devote the best energy that I have in me to furthering someone else's interest in order to receive a medium of exchange, which would be money that I would regularly take. Ain't nothing wrong with having money, don't get me wrong, to someone else who has an established dwelling that I could occupy in order that I may have comfort and security. I'm beyond that. I'm a roughneck. Feeling me? So I don't really need comfort and security. You know, I need for my world to be better. And I will not give away the majority of my most valuable commodity, which is my time, to ensure that the status quo is maintained. I will not participate in that. What I will do is spend the majority of my time trying to survive, and in the best way that I could, the most honest way that I could. And when I'm not doing that, and even while I'm doing that, I am trying to show people another way. Things that they may have missed, or things that perhaps they may have never thought of. You know why? Because I'm connected to all of you. I see the divinity in all of you. I see the divinity in all of us. If there's a better way, I am committed to finding it and bouncing my ideas off of all of you to see what you think. I want to start the dialogue. I know a lot of you have ideas too. Come on, I want to hear them. I'm sure others do too. And we as a people have been lied to and cheated and stolen from. Our birthright has been stolen away. We all live in some type of slavery in some form. Slavery of the mind is the worst of them all. And I am here to break all chains with intelligence. It starts with us as individuals. And you don't have to do what I do. Who's with me? Who is willing to help me do this? I need your support. In private or in public, it really doesn't matter. Just help me. Just help me. We could do better, brothers and sisters. All we have to do is will towards it and do the work. So this has been my positive word sound for today. I must bid you farewell until next time. In the meantime, until I address you again, I would like you to find someone whose life you could affect in a positive way by some gesture that you could perform, no matter how small, and just do it for the sake of itself. Not expecting anything in return, just to put positive vibes in the air. And additionally, if you could help it, be nice to people today. Do your best to be a positive force in people's lives, just because. That's what I'm doing, and I know it's hard. It's hard for me too, and sometimes I fail miserably, but I still keep trying. It's always still worth a try, no matter how bad things get. That's all for now, and thank you all for listening. Have a great day, and may the Almighty continue to shine His grace upon us all. Godspeed. I love you all. One.